Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yeah, and welcome to my new workspace. It's not finished yet. We got some noisy neighbors, no problem. We'll just sample whatever they're doing. I'll be back in a few minutes whenever they're done. Okay, I'm back. What I wanted to say is welcome to my new workspace. It's not done yet. It's probably like 70% there. Like I need to do acoustic treatment, some bass traps, and then we'll do like a studio tour or workspace tour, call it whatever. But today I wanted to talk to you about guitar tone and what I think matters the most when it comes to a guitar tone. When it comes to amplifiers, I'm very simple. I just plug into the guitar amplifier and then my volume knob is my clean tone, my overdriven tone. It's been like that for years and I absolutely love it. But that's pretty much the extent to where the amplifier can take you. You know, amplifier is more about the feel of the, how the instrument feels under your fingers and under your pick. And of course, depending on the genre that you're playing, you will choose your amplifier accordingly. But the amplifier's tone stack can shape the tone only so much. Speakers and microphone placement, on the other hand, is the most important aspect in terms of where the guitar is going to sit in the mix or with the rest of the band. And I feel like we need to pay more attention to that as guitarists. So let's demonstrate this really quickly. Just want to let you know that I'll be using high gain guitar tone for these tests because it accentuates the differences. I think that shows that speakers and microphones matter so much. When you realize that your priorities as a guitar player, they change. And prioritize I did. So I built this beautiful 2x12 guitar cabinet with none other but the artist himself, Mr. Dalibor from Guerilla. It's an open back cabinet. Why is it an open back? I'll get to that in a minute. I bought more than a dozen of speakers, microphones. I started experimenting and I got obsessed with creating this ultimate impulse response library of that cabinet over there just so I can use those impulses for years to come. That same impulse response library is available in the description. There's a light edition, which is only mix-ready impulse responses from this cabinet. And there's like a full version, which has like 700 impulses. In the process, I captured like thousands of impulse responses, just so I don't have to put another microphone on that thing ever again. Although I still do, just to see where I can also take it. And you might say, but David, impulse responses don't sound the same as putting a microphone on a cab. They do. Here. Did you hear the switch? Yeah, me neither. So there's that. Let's continue. Guitar cabinet. Let's make this look pretty at least. Last night I, stayed up a bit late. Just, like when you record a video and you're like, oh my God, I'm done. But then there's this like a part of the video where you kind of just rushed through it. And I don't want to rush through this because I just want to do this properly, because there's some really interesting stuff going on here. Open back versus closed back cabinet. It matters. It really matters. So a closed back 1x12 will sound different from a closed back 4x12, sometimes even drastically different. Here's our guitar cabinet. And here's our speaker. Speakers usually have these openings on the back just so the air can flow, which is pretty important. Okay, so that's our speaker. So what happens in a closed back cabinet is your signal will start to spill to the back, and then it will start bouncing around the corners, the back wall, the back plate, and it's usually low end that goes to the back of the speaker. And because of that low end buildup inside of the cabinet, there will be, people say pressure, definitely sounds kind of like a pressure buildup. But what happens is, like, when you put a mic in front of your cabinet, you will see your cone firing up. All this buildup of like mostly mid-low and low frequencies, some mid-range, but not that much. It will come into your microphone a bit late, and there will be some phase cancellation going on. You will see very random dips in your mids, your low mids. Your low end might get a bump, or it will have like a really weird dip and then a bump. All that really depends on the size of the closed back cabinet, the distance from the back wall. Is the speaker maybe slanted? All of that plays a huge role. Certainly phase issues are not always a bad thing, but we'll get to that. So we made my open back cabinet out of 3 panels, 2 of which are removable. What I came to realize is how much of the back of your cabinet you uncover in an open back cabinet. This is your low end control. So what happens in an open back? Say we have a microphone here. All those low and mid-low frequencies are coming out of your cabinet, and you can capture them with a microphone, and you can have a wonderful low-end control just with one more microphone added. What also matters in an open back, because of all of this low-end spillage, your room will start to play a bigger role in your guitar tone. So if you put your cabinet into a huge room, all those waves will eventually disperse a little bit, so it will not have as much effect, at least not on the closed up, miking. But then if you put your cabinet in a smaller room, it might have a little bit of a play with this microphone as well. Obviously, if you mic up your room and the back, it will have a play with this as well, depending on if you're miking it up from the back or from the front. Your room will start to produce sound as well. And then there's all these other issues that could be introduced if you place your open back cabinet right next to the wall. Your room and the cabinet placement starts to have more saying how your tone is gonna turn out. But it's really a matter of preference, a matter of taste. But yeah, my preference, back of the cabinet, open wide, and I put a mic on the back. I put a mic in the room somewhere as well, and just capture all of that beautiful information that usually just gets stuck inside of a closed back. I just love it this way. This is my preference. There's no right or wrong here. It's just a matter of taste, I think. So even here, a microphone choice matters. A dynamic microphone and small diaphragm condenser microphone will naturally pick up more transients. If you want a well-defined, tight low end, go for those. If you want like a more relaxed low end, a flubbier low end, which is suitable for certain genres of music, I would say go for a large diaphragm condenser microphone. Then there's a ribbon microphone, which more often than not picks up amazing transients. It really depends on their design, so they can go either way. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to clear up. Back to yesterday's David. So let's talk about a speaker cone for a second. If you mic up the cup or the center of your speaker, the tone will get bright. But as you move more towards the edge of the cone, the sound will get darker and darker. There's another aspect. Most speaker cones will have these glue spots, and usually the side with the glue on will sound darker than the side without the glue on. So let's hear the two different sides of the cone on two different speakers, and you let me know how you feel about the differences that you're hearing. Worth mentioning, but really not something that will make or break your guitar tone. So let's just speed run through this detail. So heavy magnets are often associated with ceramic magnets that are usually of a substantial size and weight, and they will often produce a tight and very well-defined low end. Medium magnets are smaller and lighter and will usually provide you with a more balanced or a more neutral, a brighter tone. And then there's neodymium magnets that are small in size but will behave more so as a heavy magnet or somewhere in between. All that theory just goes straight out of the window if you start adding up speaker construction, amount of glue, impedance, voice coil, type of magnet, the material of the cone, size of the cone, of course. So yeah, then you put a microphone in a wrong place, and who cares what the speakers are made out of and how they're constructed. And the best thing is, unless you're going to make your own speakers, none of this matters, because you get what you get and you gotta make the best out of it. So let's switch to microphones. Yeah, these things. But don't overthink this either. Unless you're miking up the back of the cabinet, you should not be using more than 2 or maybe 3 microphones. So for example, like 2 microphones on the cone, 1 on the back, and maybe 1 capturing the room you're in. So that's 4. I think that's the max number of mics I would ever use. But 1 microphone will do just fine. Let's compare that. Okay, phase. How do I explain phase? Let's ask. Can you explain phasing issues in 2 sentences in relation to microphones on a guitar cab not being aligned? Okay, so here's what it says. Phasing issues in microphone placement on a guitar cabinet occur when 2 or more microphones capturing the same source are not aligned properly. When the microphones are not in phase, their sound waves can interfere with each other, resulting in cancellation and alteration of certain frequencies, leading to an undesirable and thin sound in the recorded guitar tone. Yeah, okay, thank you, our future overlords. What this smartass over here didn't mention is that microphones not being in phase isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, by playing with phase or the distance of microphones from the cone, you can achieve some very, very interesting results. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it can change the character of your tone. So let's play with that just for a few seconds, just so you can hear what happens. In ancient times, when capturing impulse responses wasn't an option, we would do something like this. We would blast the tick through the speaker on a loop, flip the phase on one of the mics, align the capsules as close as possible, find the sweet spot where they cancel each other the most, then flip back the phase and voila. What would you do with the rest of the microphones? Well, good luck. In 21st century, we do things a little bit different. We capture the impulse responses with that same tick that I was blasting through the speaker earlier. You can forget about the old sweep thing, because trust me, I tried both techniques. I did null tests, and tick nulls better than the regular sweep. So tick it is. It's a time saver as well. So yeah, you can catch the impulse responses, you can phase align them, then you can combine them, you can export the combination of impulse responses or just the one capture that you did. You can, then use it to record in the studio. You can send it to front of the house if you're playing a gig. You can keep those files on your phone. You can put it in the cloud. You can always have your setup with you. You can always have your tone with you. Easy. Capturing impulse responses, like if you're capturing them through a tube power amp or through a Class D power amp, you might get a tiny bit of a resonance curve baked into your IR, but differences are very minor in my experience. And then, obviously, your choice of microphones matter. Mic pre's, as long as you have a decent, clean mic pre, you're good to go. Mic pre's, and this goes for, just like the stuff that we do in general, mic pre's matter to an extent to which you've convinced yourself that they matter.
Until we meet again!
Cables, yeah, you need a couple of cables, sure. Yeah, don't forget that you can EQ your impulse responses after you've captured them. Then you can combine them and export impulse responses of the combination of impulse responses. Let me know if there's anything else you thought that maybe I missed out on, maybe some questions that you have. Let's discuss. And yeah, don't forget to check out my impulse response libraries. One is the light edition with mix ready, and one is like a full version with both mix ready and all the raw impulses that I've captured of this cabinet over there. It's the library I've been using for the past few years. I swear by it, and I'll continue to use it for a while for sure. And I think you'll like it too. I think it's awesome. I should probably run out because this is gonna drive me mad for the next few hours. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.